happy Easter. Hope you're all having a good weekend. We just got about 3 or 4 minutes right before we start the session, so just get warmed up. Today you're going to need a ball, you'll need a piece of paper and a pen if you want to play foot golf. Hopefully someone to play with, if not you can challenge yourself. A few obstacles of maybe things that you want to hit when you're doing foot golf. Understand if you are restricted to a small space and just on your yoga mat, then maybe foot golf is not going to be the most adventurous game, but anyway, give it a go. I'm going to show you a ladder warm-up that's quite common in football and other team sports. If you don't have a ladder, which I imagine most people do not happen to have a ladder hanging around, then you could use socks, cones, anything which is kind of going to look like a ladder. You can even just draw it, anything that's going to mark it. And this is one of our team from Team Brave in Bristol, Ellen. She recently set a Brave challenge, so this one was inspired by Ellen, so thank you Ellen if you're watching. We can start by, if you've got time, just write where you're watching from so we can say hi and give you a shout out. We've had so far USA, Denmark, England, Scotland, Spain, Colombia, Venezuela, Jordan, where else? Chile. So yeah, it'll be cool if there's any other countries watching. I'll just do some kick-ups while I'm waiting because it is quite weird talking to yourself.
Detroit.
Oh, Marie, sorry. Hi Marie, thanks for tuning in. Marie, are you joining in today, or are you more of a passive observer? I've heard of a few people doing it on their laptops, just watching.
Richard Todd, Burnham.
Yay! Hi Dad. Well, at least there's 3 of us here. Hope everyone's been practicing from their previous sessions. We've done passing, dribbling, turning. We did first touch. So session 1 was passing, session 2 was dribbling, session 3 turning, session 4 first touch, and now with the next sessions we're going to progress those ones. So we'll do progression of passing, progression of dribbling, progression of turning, progression of first touch. Then we're going to do a session on goalkeeping. I am not a good goalie, but I will attempt to teach you. And then we'll do session 10 on tricks and flicks. So hopefully you'll enjoy them. Keep tuned in for those ones. Also tomorrow, if you're a Spanish speaker, I'm going to be doing one of the sessions in Spanish. So yeah, that's for everyone in the Spanish speaking world. Or if you just want a free Spanish lesson, then tune in tomorrow. Yeah, we'll get started. Ready to get started? Okay. I'm just going to check, can you see, is the camera lens okay? Because I can see there's something blocking the lens. No, it's fine? Okay. Cool, so we're going to start with the warm-up, which is going to be a ladder warm-up. Okay, so this is used lots in football for the speed, agility and quickness. So just getting your foot coordination. So if you're in your living room, then set out maybe 10 socks and you're going to be trying to place your feet in between the socks. Okay, so we're going to start with the easy ones. We're just going to go 1 foot in each of the ladder holes and you try not to touch the ladder. Watch that I'm using my arms as well because we want to warm up the whole body, not just your legs, and you're thinking about your coordination. Okay, and then if you can look up while you're doing it, because in football you can't play looking at the ground, so you might as well warm up properly. Here in Chile it's sunny, but it's also quite cold, so I'm quite happy to do a warm up. So each of the different techniques we're going to do, let's say 10 times. So Maiken, if you're going up and down your yoga mat, then you've got to do 10 repetitions of each one. Okay, try and speed it up each time. Now we're going to go for 2 feet in each hole. So if you set your socks out, I'm going to go 2 feet in each one. So 1, 2. Okay, now you're going to change your leading foot. Nice work. Hopefully Ellen's watching because she was the inspiration for this warm-up. Thank you, Ellen. Is Ellen watching? Ellen said she watched the last session, but she didn't do it. She was just watching and sunbathing. Okay, so remember we're doing 10 of each. I just tried to think of a warm-up that we could do in a small space if you don't happen to live in an adventure park and you're just doing it in your living room. Okay, next one. This time you're going to rotate 90 degrees. So imagine you're on your rug, face the other way, and we're going to go sideways. We'll go 1 foot in each one. Oh no, 2 feet, let's do 2. And see if you can look up. So if you're watching me on a phone, try and look into my eyes. I'll try and look into your eyes. And we're doing 10 of these. Try and go a bit faster. Rapido, rapido, schnell, schnell. I'm actually on the balls of my feet, my heels aren't going down. Because when you're in football, you want to get used to being on the balls of your feet so that you can react quickly. Because your body, your weight's kind of poised and ready to move rather than being locked on the back. So I hope everyone's going to be doing Easter egg hunts today, even in lockdown. Our neighbour is on his motorbike, which is the noise you can hear over there. Hey Tommy! Estamos grabando! Okay, now we're going to do some jumps. Okay, so we'll face forwards again and we'll do 2 foot in. So think of being the Easter bunny. Okay, so we're doing 10 of these. Hopefully by now you're feeling that your pulse rate is going up. Okay, obviously if you want to make it harder, so more of a plyometric workout, you can jump a bit higher up. Or you could alternate. Okay. Nice work. How's everyone doing? Great. Okay. Now we're gonna go, we're just hopping. So this is really good for strengthening your ankle ligaments. And swap sides. Okay, hope you're all doing well at this. Okay, let's try and step this up a level now, make it a bit more confusing. So we're going to go for one which is, what can you call it, a bit like skiing. So you're going to have 1 foot in, my right foot's in, and then I'm going to jump and change sides. So ready, left foot's in, right foot's in, left foot's in. So if you've ever done skiing, okay, so 10 of these. Hopefully that's confused a few people. Nice work. Keep it going. Think how fit you're going to be at the end of all of these sessions. Brilliant. Now we're going to make it even harder. So instead of jumping, you're going to put 2 feet. So you've got your 2 feet out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a bit like a mambo step in salsa. Now we've got so many tractors and motorbikes going on. If you can do it backwards. Oh, no. So it's testing your coordination, getting your neurons firing, ready for our session. See if you can speed it up. How's this one going? I'd really like to see someone socks on their yoga mat, maybe in the garden. Okay, great, well done everyone. Okay, last one we'll do. Let's try, you're going to go forwards and backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, messed up there. You do have to concentrate. Remember to use your arms as well. Okay, good. Well done everyone. Hopefully you're a bit more warmed up now. Give yourself a shake out. If there's any stretches that you feel you need to do. My hamstrings are a bit tight from a run I did yesterday. Okay, you can dynamically stretch your quads as well. Okay, ready for action. So, hopefully you remember what is the topic of today's session. Passing progression. So let's get my note card out. Thanks so much for tuning in on your Sunday. So here we go, passing progression. These are the passes we're going to do today. We've got the Lofted Pass, Chip Pass and La Rabona, which is a pass that's, sorry, can you see better now? Okay, so the Lofted Pass, this is used to get the ball in the air. So you might use it in a free kick, a corner, a strike where you want the ball to go up in the top corner. You might use it for a cross or to clear a ball, like if I play centre back, so if I've got the ball and I want to get it up the pitch, far away from the danger zone, then I would use a Lofted Pass. You can see from this highly technical diagram here that when you strike the ball, you're going to strike underneath and lift up. So I'll show you the technique of that. Chip Pass, again you're going to be lifting it from underneath. Chip Pass, not that commonly used in the game, but you might use it to chip it over the foot of a defender, or to, if the goalkeeper's low, then you might want to chip it over their head or something. And the Rabona is not massively useful in the game, but it just looks cool, so it's important that we all look cool when we're doing this. Okay, then we've got a couple of games. We're going to do the chip challenge, and we're going to play some foot golf, which was a Brave challenge a couple of days ago. So you might have already played. If you haven't, I'll show you how to play. Okay, hope you're ready for action. So we're going to do the chip pass first. Okay, so with the chip, you want to get your, remember when we did the other passing? Let's do a quick fire quiz. What parts of the foot can we use to pass the ball? Just shout them out at home. Okay, hope there's people all over the country shouting out parts of the foot. So we've got, yes, correct, the inside of your foot, the laces, outside of your foot, the back heel, and the toes. Obviously we wouldn't really recommend the toes, it's such a small area, but normally we're going to be using the inside, the laces, or the outside. Okay, so in today's session we're going to be doing the chip pass, and to do a chip you want your foot to be wedged right under the ball like that, and the action of your foot is actually this. Okay, so you're lifting your whole leg upwards. So see here? So my planted foot by the side, and then I'm going to transfer my weight to my planted foot, and then this foot that's contacting the ball is going to lift up. Let's have a go. Okay, so the ball should go high in the sky. So sorry if you're doing this at home, you may hit your ceiling. Let's see how high we can get it. Okay, so the chip pass. See if you can chip it up to yourself and then maybe do some kick-ups, as we did learn on the other day. Voila! Okay, how's that chip pass going? Anyone broken any windows so far? Okay, great. So, within the restraints of your house or garden, try and set yourself challenges for chipping the ball. So, chipping it over some cones, chipping it over a wheelbarrow, chipping it over a friend if they trust your kicking skills. So we're going to do the first game as it's appropriate to chipping. So you're going to get a target. So I've chosen a tyre. Don't know if you've got a tyre at home. Okay, and then the aim of the game is to chip the ball into the tyre. I was just showing you there how not to do it. Oh! So we're going to award 1 point for hitting the rim and then 5 points if it goes in. So, come on. So it's still 1-0 to you, Goose. Right, this is the one. 1 point, 1-1. Harder than it looks to chip a ball into a tyre. Luckily we've got a lot of time to practice. Bounce first, not awarding that point. Okay, as you can see, the hours could be spent playing the chip challenge. Nice one. Come on, Goose. Right, come on. Still only one. I was hoping for a nice demonstration where I showed it straight in one. One day we're going to get this, even if this film is going to last. Yes, Goose! So that is a successful 5 points. Okay, so that's the chip your cameo roll. That's the chip challenge. You can also, if you happen to have a football goal around, you could do crossbar challenge, which is where you either chip or loft the ball and try and hit the crossbar. But I'm imagining not many people have got access to a football pitch right now. So yeah, I'll save that for another session when we're all out of lockdown. Okay, so the next pass we're going to do, as I mentioned, is the lofted pass. So I'm going to show you in slow motion, and I'm not going to actually kick the ball because the lofted pass is for a long distance. Okay. So the lofted pass requires a bit of run up. Normally, if I was delivering a free kick, then I would go 3 paces back and 1 to the left. So I'm right footed. So 1, 2, 3, 1 to the side, and that's going to give me a rough run up that I'll need to strike the ball. Okay. So this is how I would start if I was taking a corner or a free kick. So then a run up, slow motion, planting foot to the side. Notice that it's a bit further back than before. Remember before it was number 10. Now the planting foot's behind, and that's because when I strike, I want to be already leaning backwards and my weight going backwards. Sorry, our neighbour's just riding his bike, very intrigued. Hi Tommy. Okay, so I'm going to be leaning backwards. My foot is striking the ball underneath here, like that. Okay, and then it's going to lift up and follow through. So I'll just do an act without actually striking the ball. So here we go. That's the preparation, then I'll strike and follow through. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now, luckily no one can see you apart from your family members, is going to practice striking an invisible ball. Okay, so the invisible ball for me is going to be next to my ball. I'm going to come in, strike, and I want you to see where you finish. Ta-da! Okay. I'm going to strike. So you should notice that you're preparing. Look at my arm coming up for balance, kinematic chain, strike, and my legs finishing where I want the ball to go. So everyone practice striking your invisible ball and hold. Good for your balance as well. And imagine it going into the top corner in the World Cup final. Okay, now I'm going to stop just before I strike the ball, otherwise it will hit the cameraman. Okay, and then I would lift it up like that. I'm going to be striking it with the laces or just slightly to the side here. The instep it's sometimes called. Okay, so imagine strike and lift up. Okay, so the crossbar challenge that I mentioned earlier is a good way to practice lofting the ball. If you've got friends, you could practice taking free kicks by them making a wall and you've got to get the ball over. But lofting the ball is a tricky one to practice in your home unless you have a massive house or even garden, because it could get lost over the fence. So maybe save this one for a park. If you're in a country that you can still go to the park, like England, then maybe use your daily exercise to practice lofting the ball. If not, save it for after lockdown. Okay, so we've done the chip and the lofted pass. Now the Rabona, which Goose taught me yesterday. So this is where it's not going to be the most useful in a game situation, but it's good to learn anyway. So you're going to cross your foot over like that, and you're going to strike with the back foot like that. Okay, I'll show you again. So you plant the foot, cross over, and you're going to be kicking the ball with your back foot. So I'll just do a pass, or attempt one. Oh, nice control with the remote. So have a go. It would be very the cameraman has missed the ball. It would be very cool if you could do this in a game and score a goal. Okay, so now I've got a quiz for you. You're going to tell me which pass I'm about to do just by looking. Okay, ready? We'll start easy. So it could be any of the passes from last week or this week. Ready? So, I'm preparing which part of the foot am I going to use? Correct, inside of the foot. What about this one? Yeah, laces. Okay, this one. What one do you reckon? It's going to be the outside. Okay, which pass am I going to do now? The chip, correct, well done. And that would make the ball go up in the air. What about this one? You see my run up. Lofted pass. And finally, can you remember the name? Rabona. Okay, great. So now we're going to be moving on to our game, which is foot golf. Now, some of you may have seen it on our Brave challenges. So what you need to do on your piece of paper is write down 4 or 5 targets that you want to try and hit in your game. So we've got bench, water bottle, tyre and the smiley ball. Okay? And then you're going to go head to head with whoever you're playing against. If you don't have anyone to play against, then you can just play against me. Okay, so you just write down my score. And the important thing is you need to set a par, which means the estimated number of shots you think it's going to take. So the bench, I think that's quite easy, a big target, so I'm going to say the par is going to be 1. Okay, the water bottle is much smaller, so I'd say par is going to be 3. The tyre, as we've seen, is very hard, so we're going to say par 5, but it's got to be inside the tyre. And the smiley ball is small as well, let's say 4. Okay, so let's give you a moment to prepare your sheet. Now understand, if you're playing this on a yoga mat at home, the options are going to be limited, but you could put stuff down like a ball or a yoga brick, or you could play with a smaller ball. That can maybe if you play with a golf ball, then you can challenge yourself. Okay, so we will start from the ladder. So I'm going to represent England here. This is representing Chile. World Cup final of foot golf. Okay, want to go first, Goose? Just one shot. So now you need to try. You gotta go from behind now, Goose. This is good coordination, filming, and oh, that's another shot. Okay, fine. One more. Okay, you gotta hit this. So Goose, for the bench you got 3, which is 2 over par. Okay, I go. Ready for this hole in one, please? If I miss this now. Come on. It's a hole in one! Okay, so the scores of the Foot Golf World Cup so far. Okay, next shot, water bottle. The par is 3. Oh, tantalisingly close. If you get this, you'll get the par. Woo! 3. Right, go for another hole in one. So remember from the previous session we used inside of the foot for accuracy? Come on! Come on! Okay, that's 1. No, cannot be. So if you want to challenge yourself, you could use your weaker foot or you could use different parts of your foot. Woohoo! 3. Do you think we have time for the other ones? Yeah. Okay, so the tyre. It's got a par of 5. This is the toughest shot of the day. Good luck. You want to go first? 1. Go, go, go. Oh, we're going to need to be a nice chip now. Olé! I'll give you the point. Right, so 3. Nice. 2 under. You can always have prizes as well. So I'm going to try a chip shot. Come on. Hey, you let that go. Could have given me a nice rebound. Okay, I'm in the rough here. Another chip. Come on. Come on. Woo! 3. And the last challenge, we'll go from here, is the smiley ball over there. Want to go first, Goose? Oh, a bit more weight needed. I think you can get this in 2, which will be 2 under par. Woohoo! Congratulations. Okay, my shot. Okay, so that means final scores. The suspense is killing everyone, I know. 4, 7, so 9. 3, 6, 9. Oh, such a close game, but England are the winners! Champion! My second victory in foot golf, Goose, if you remember rightly. So the next thing we're going to do in the session is our core strength challenge. So hopefully you're practicing your routine every day. I see a lot of people not practicing their routine every day. So we start with the super heroine, we go to the crazy crab, the frog, the next one. What was the next one we did? Oh, we did Dee's bridge. And then today is one we've done before as well, called the Twirly Plank. Okay. So what you need to do is set up in a normal plank. I've got the additional challenge of loads of spiky plants. Okay, so you want to have your body in a straight line, nice and line, tense your glutes and your abdominals. And then you're going to do a spin round. So you come to the side. And you're going to see how many twirls you can do. Okay? It's a good core workout. And it's good for your arm strength as well. And depending what you want to do, if you want to build a bit more muscular endurance, you can hold it for longer. See if you can get it so you feel your abdominals shaking. And then the back one as well, you want to keep straight. Then you rotate onto your side. Okay, so have a go at the twirly plank, challenge yourself. Let me know how many twirls you can do, how many spins. Maybe you're going up and down your room doing the twirly plank. Okay, I'm going to do it with you now, one more time. Just when you thought you'd escaped. No, we're doing it one more time. Ready? Think how strong your core is going to be and how many Easter eggs you can eat now. Okay, just a quick recap for those people who don't know the other challenges we've been doing. So the super heroine, lifting opposite arm and opposite leg. And every day you should be able to hold it for longer. You could add a challenge by writing your name. Ideally your limbs should be parallel to the ground. Okay, then we have the crazy crab, where you try and balance the ball on your hips, like that, so strengthening your triceps and keeping your core nice and strong, glutes, your back and your abdominals. Then we have the frog, where you put your elbows into your knees, try and find a not this spiky spot. Okay, lean forward. So start by touching your tiptoes. Okay, so you can hold it for as long as you can. And then we had Dee's bridge. If Dee's watching, hope that's going well, the practice. So you go like this, and then you're going to push up with your quads and also your arms. So ready? I'm going to push my hips to the sky. And my colleague, my friend Jackie, said she does this with a lot of her teams because it builds a lot of strength in the thoracic area, which is really useful for running technique and breathing in football and other sports, so very worthwhile. So hopefully that's given you a good sequence of core activities, so all the viewers are going to be super strong after this. Okay, so now the global goals focus. So each session we focus on a different global goal in cooperation with the Global Goals World Cup. So today's goal is goal number 10. So let's see who's going to see it first. Can you see it? Where? Still can't see it. Number 10. Where is this number 10? Where is the 10? Somewhere on this ball there is a number. There we go, pink one. Reduce inequalities. So this can be sex, gender, ethnicity, race, age, any different equality, and there's definitely a lot of inequalities in the world. So as always, I've done a bit of research, and I found, you see this diagram here, so currently the richest 10% of people in the world, they own 40% of the global wealth. So 10% of people owning 40% of the global wealth, which means the other 90% share the rest of it. And the poorest 10%, they earn just between 2 to 7% of the global wealth. So you can see a massive disparity there. And I'm sure there's a lot of very, very wealthy people out there who are earning so much more than the vast majority of the population. So definitely need to work on those inequalities. Fact for you, 22% of global income was received by the top 1% of rich people, and just 10% of global income was received by the bottom 50%, which is really showing a massive inequality. If this continues at the same rate, the richest 1% will receive 39% of global wealth in 2050, which is crazy. I'm going to focus on a team from my friend Jackie that came to the Copenhagen Global Goals World Cup last year, and they're called Inspiring Inequalities. And Jackie basically got together a lot of professionals that are women in football, working in football, and just kind of highlighted and showcased their stories. Jackie herself is a football coach and manager and player, professional, and she just kind of highlighted a lot of the discrimination and inequalities that she's faced, and also her teammates. I remember one of them was a doctor as well as a pro footballer, as some of them had to take out 2 jobs in order to continue to play. There's been discrimination in women's salaries. If you look at media coverage, women's sport gets a lot less media coverage still, like huge disparity, and that reflects them in money as well, prize money, salaries. So there's so much inequality even in just in sport, but also the whole world. So check out Jackie's team, Inspiring Inequalities, especially if you're interested in women's football. They did some really good seminars and online training. It's really worth checking out, and great work, Jackie, and well done to all your team as well. And then if you were thinking what you could do to reduce inequality, check out the Global Goals World Cup website, or the World's Largest Lesson. There's a lot of information there, United Nations Development Programme, just to see what we can all do to make a difference. So that wraps up our session for today. I'm going to be training again on Wednesday, Friday and the following Sunday, and tomorrow is my session in Spanish, Espanol, for all the people watching from Latin America or Spain. Or if you want to learn some Spanish, then tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be repeating the passing session, but everything in Spanish. So if you want to learn a bit of Espanol, then tune in. If not, have a really lovely rest of your day. Practice your passing and let us know how you get on with all the challenges and games, especially footgolf. Thanks very much for your time, and see you soon.